Good evening, I'm Jeff Phillips. Also in this bulletin, the Canberra Liberals unveiled their plans for Northbourne Avenue. Well, after more than 6 months of preparation and almost 2 decades of lobbying, the first Singapore Airlines international passenger service finally landed today at Canberra Airport. It's an historic moment for the city, with flights into the capital expected to provide a huge boost to the region's economy.
Touchdown, Canberra connected to the world by air. Singapore Airlines Capital Express route now servicing the nation's capital. Last night at Changi Airport there was a party atmosphere, passengers treated to a champagne reception and serenaded by members of the cabin crew.
Fly with me, let's fly away.
Dignitaries from Australia and New Zealand confident strengthened ties between the three nations will provide benefits to all three cities.
I know there are thousands of civil servants in Wellington and Canberra, and Adrian Lachlan and I are amongst that group, who are rejoicing that they now need to spend only 4 hours commuting between the two capitals instead of the whole day the trip currently takes.
Our shared aim has been to more closely integrate our economies, and as with defence and security, we believe that both countries are sufficiently similar we can work together.
The airline expecting to see strong demand.
And it'll take time to educate people on what Canberra has to offer, what Wellington has to offer, but they're both such popular and attractive destinations, we think it's going to succeed.
The ribbon was cut.
3, 2, 1.
And the flight officially declared open. Canberra Airport's owner joining the flight to celebrate the fruits of more than 18 years' labour.
It's terrific. I'm looking forward to it. It's particularly poignant to fly into our own airport for our first international flight.
Passengers were welcomed aboard as the packed Boeing 777 aircraft prepared for takeoff. Finally, the flight took to the air, and a midnight snack made from produce from the Canberra region was served as the bright lights of the Lion City disappeared into the distance. With supper served and several hours left in the flight, there's nothing left to do but settle in, relax and enjoy the ride. Passengers woke to sunrise over Australian skies. A light breakfast before final preparations for landing, then a descent through the clouds, giving a bird's-eye view of the nation's capital. Coming in for a smooth landing, the first international passengers to Canberra receiving a wet welcome. The flight's arrival marks nearly 2 decades of lobbying and millions of dollars in investment by the airport's owners with support of the ACT government. The Chief Minister hopeful it will provide a big boost for the region.
And today we get to be part of history. That's a fantastic thing for Canberra.
Thanks to a code-sharing arrangement with Virgin, passengers travelling to other domestic destinations are able to travel on the one ticket and access the Virgin Lounge, the service to Singapore and Wellington, transforming Canberra into an air travel centre for southeastern Australia. Harry Frost, Win News.
It was a quick turnaround at Canberra Airport after official proceedings, with the final leg of the Singapore Airlines Capital Express taking passengers on to Wellington. Stakeholders say talks are already underway about other potential destinations.
Not even rain could put a damper on this milestone moment. After a quick stop, the inaugural Capital Express was off again, this time to Canberra's newest sister city, Wellington.
I can say confidently that today, and what will flow from today, is the single biggest economic development action possible for this city.
The Singapore Airlines route dramatically cuts travel time between the three cities, but may also open the door to new destinations. The question is, where to next?
All the international airlines are watching the leadership of Singapore Airlines, but when people look back on this day, this page in our city's history, it will always be Singapore Airlines that were the first international airline to service Canberra.
Canberra Airport has already been in talks with other international carriers about possible future routes, but that will depend on how successful the Capital Express is. It's also hoped a recently released international engagement strategy will help maintain the momentum. Goals include attracting innovative, creative people to live and learn in the ACT and creating world-class infrastructure to build the city's reputation.
With a connection to Wellington but also to Singapore, we're connected to the whole world. So we can grow the number of tourists coming to Canberra and the exports out of this city through this service.
For now, the focus is simply on making this route a successful one. It's hoped over the next 4 to 5 years, the Singapore Airlines Capital Express will become a daily service.
We want these 4 flights a week full, and then we can begin the discussions on adding additional flights.
Some of the best things in life take the longest, and this has certainly been 18.5 years of hard work.
Although hopefully this time it won't be too long before the next destination takes off. Rosanna Kingson, Win News.
It was a wet and miserable day around the region with heavy rain and a thick blanket of cloud hovering over Canberra. The downpour didn't ease off, with the ACT receiving just over 20 millimetres. Canberra's current record rainfall for the month of September stands at 91 millimetres, but there are expectations that 2013 record could be broken this year.
Most likely break that this month. We've already hit 90.8 millimetres for this month in Canberra, and with 9 days to go and perhaps a few more showers today and tomorrow, that record is also likely to be broken.
People are being urged to be mindful of floodwaters and swollen rivers. The weather should clear up by Friday. ACT Labor has rubbished the Canberra Liberals' claims that a rapid transit corridor would enable 30-minute commutes from Gungahlin to Civic. The opposition is promising to widen Northbourne Avenue if elected next month.
A $58 million rapid transport corridor from Gungahlin to Civic, just another piece of the Canberra Liberals' alternate transport plan.
What you'll see from this plan is it'll be much better for buses, much quicker, be better for cars, it'll mean quicker transport by cars. It is safer for cyclists.
The plan includes shaving the sides of Northbourne Avenue's median strip to add extra lanes in both directions and moving the bike lane to the middle. Stretches of Flemington Road would also be duplicated. Overall, the plan is predicted to cut travel times.
You could have a local bus in Ngunnawal that collects at local stops and then becomes a non-stop or express service using our infrastructure.
Transport Minister Megan Fitzharris rubbished the idea, claiming travel times were unrealistic and costings underdone.
The 30-minute travel time from Bonner to the city is completely unrealistic unless the Canberra Liberals have flying buses in mind.
The opposition also lashed out at Labor for a savings drive within ACT Health. Jeremy Hansen claiming Minister Chris Burke confirmed cuts from Canberra Hospital at a debate last week.
Secretly, they've been cutting $96 million from the hospital, and we know that this is a government that is putting just about every spare cent they can into trams, and that's what we're seeing here today. Fitzharris
confirmed some efficiencies were being sought, but that money saved would be reinvested into the health system.
The changes that we have made in some of the workflows and some of the processes in Canberra Hospital has delivered the equivalent of 50 beds across the health system as a whole.
Meantime today, the Greens pledged $20 million to help Canberra schools develop traffic management plans. Shane Rattenbury says a different approach to safety is needed at each school.
So our plan is to work with each school to design an individualised response for their area and then fund that